911.
911, where's your emergency?
Well, I haven't done this for a while, so why not? The call, boy.
Wow. You want to do that again?
Yeah.
You want to give it another
Did
shot?
I do it wrong?
Do it one time.
Yeah.
Corey Coleman impression. Oh, the call, boy.
Boy, the call.
Call, boy.
It's like I like that it's a survival story. It's basically the call of the child. Just saying.
Why didn't you stop him, co-host?
I'm paying attention to what's going on in the bathroom. I think I need to run in there right now and make something happen. But, no, I'm sorry, but yeah.
All right, so
The call.
what we've got here is a thriller starring Halle Berry as a 911 phone operator, the one who says, "Hi, 911, what's your emergency?" And she's a professional. She's been doing this for some years. And when this film starts off, we see her taking a call from a girl who's got a intruder coming into the house.
Well, now first we see everybody there relaxing, taking calls.
Yeah.
They come in. So some are dangerous. Most of them are kind of crazy.
Yeah. We see Morris Chestnut, who's her boyfriend, who's a cop. Oh, what a shocker. Morris Chestnut plays a cop.
Yeah, and the whole time I was like, what is this cop doing hanging out with his girlfriend? Shouldn't he be out being a cop?
Yeah, like arresting other black people for things they didn't really do.
Honestly, if my girlfriend is Halle Berry, I'm probably going to be at the call center more than I am out in the car.
Leon makes a valid
This
point.
is true. You're making a little too much sense right now.
But so we see that like there's all kinds of calls that you get, but she gets this call from this girl's like, and we see the girl as well. She's like, oh, there's an intruder in the house. He's breaking the house. What do I do? So Halle Berry's trying to guide her through it. And when the phone accidentally disconnects, she makes the gut decision to hit redial Halle Berry, which even though she was almost in the clear, the guy was leaving the house, he hears the phone ring.
Fucked up.
Yeah, comes back and grabs her.
Yeah.
And then there's that period of not knowing what's happening.
Knowing
you fucked up.
Yeah, wondering where the hell is Liam Neeson. I mean, come on.
Seriously.
And just so there's no ambiguity, it's a few hours later where they find the girl's body.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing that just, that ends your career almost. I mean, not that you get fired, but
emotionally,
it's hard to go back to work.
And
they showed that, They did a good job of like really showing that, they're not as, these 911 operators aren't as cut off and distant as you would imagine.
Right. Yeah. You think they're like detached, almost robots, but man, something like that, you can't help but, be waylaid by it. Just like, man, what did I just do?
And sure enough, the film's like 6 months later, she's like, I'm not taking calls anymore.
Yeah, I'm teaching.
My job is I take in the new people, telling them to do pretty much not to do what I did.
Yeah.
To get emotionally connected.
Yeah.
You can't do, you teach.
Yeah.
But
you people need to be robots. I don't care who's dying. Don't get attached to them. Just talk.
But sure enough, she is there taking them through when suddenly there's another call from another girl who's been abducted, played by Abigail Breslin, who is taken from a mall and thrown into the back of this guy's trunk.
911, where's your emergency?
Please, I don't want to die.
What's your name?
Casey, I'm in the trunk. I'm like in the trunk.
We are going to find you, okay, honey?
You promise?
You've got the best team of people in this whole city working to find you.
So from there, what we've got is basically a police procedural thriller, only from the viewpoint of the 911 operator, who is doing everything she can, like with her own emotional baggage she's carrying around after this, to try and help this girl in inventive ways, any way she can, to keep her from getting killed.
Yeah, she's kind of like Ripley from Aliens. It's like, that sure she's been through that one time, but there's this opportunity to actually, do something. There's somebody going, I don't know what to do. You've been through this. And when Halle Berry makes that decision, all right, time to go back into the gates of hell. And yeah, you're right. When it becomes that procedural, man, boy, does it become a tense goddamn thriller. Something that I was not expecting at all, especially seeing the trailers from this. I'm like, okay, this could be another we just released this because we don't know where else to put it. Type of movie.
The problem is from the trailer. First off, I'm thinking, okay, Halle Berry thriller. That I'm thinking Gothica. I'm thinking about that one she did with Bruce Willis.
All the bad ones.
All the bad ones. Yeah. And I'm also thinking, okay, this looks a lot like the kind of movie Denzel Washington would shoot with Tony Scott on the weekend.
It does. Well, it doesn't look like it, mind you, but the trailer.
The trailer. That's what I'm saying. The trailer and the premise of it.
Right.
You're like, okay, the ghost of Tony Scott is back.
And not to mention that the trailer, feels like it reveals every single bit of the story.
It really does.
It really does.
It does.
Yeah, and I was a little worried about that because we are living in an age right now as we speak where these trailers are pretty much showing everything from beginning to the end of these movies. I've seen several trailers this past week where it's the entire movie. And with this, I mean, I thought it was just another one of those coincidences. Like, why do we even? I could just watch a trailer and do a review easily. I don't like it. I don't care. But for some strange reason, I ended up researching the movie to see who directed it, and I was like, maybe that'll get me in the theater. And thank God that I realized that this movie is actually being directed by Brad Anderson. And if you're familiar with The Machinist, it's the same guy. It's the same guy who also did a movie before that called Session 9. And when I read that, I was like, okay, this could be the movie saving grace. But then again, his movies hardly ever get any kind of big release. So another part of me was worried, like, oh, this could be another movie where the studio hired him as just a hired director, gave him a script, do it, and then they interfered. But, I mean, thank God that's not the case at all.
I mean, this feels like it's a movie that could have been ham-handed, could have been miscarried.
It could have been. It could have been stupid. They could have just pulled things out of their ass just to get, a low-level audience excited.
And there's 3 people who make this work. Brad Anderson, who actually manages to, even though we know a lot of the things that are going to happen from the trailer, it gives away too much. Even with knowing that, he keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time with the way it's put together. With Halle Berry, who gives one of her best performances in
See, man,
years.
that's the thing. Like, everybody wants to rag on Halle Berry for, these genre films, 007 and Storm and all.
I'm sorry, Leon.
but you're part of the problem because she is a really good actress. I mean, the year she won the Oscar, they didn't just give it to her because it was just something to do. She had the best performance that year.
Yeah,
not that it was a great year, but she had the best performance.
Monsters
She's good.
Ball was amazing.
I thought it was because she got naked and she looked fucking great. And who wouldn't give her an award for looking hot and getting rammed up the booty?
No, that's a different award. That's the boobies you're thinking of. That's a totally different award ceremony.
and despite her being in movie 43, she's quite awesome in this.
Yeah, and then Abigail Breslin.
Yeah.
Who, like we really get a very close-up look at who she is as a person. There's a moment in here where she's on the phone with Halle Berry in the trunk of this car and is like, just, okay, I'm there. I'm going to try to keep surviving, but don't tell me everything's going to be all right. I want to record. This is being recorded. I want to send a message to my mother. And it's heartbreaking.
It is, man. I was like fighting. I'm not going to tear up.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting next to co-host. I know he's going to laugh at me, but
no, I was too busy crying. You were thinking that. Yeah. And that's one of the scenes that really worked where I'm always wondering, how come nobody's ever really done that in a movie? Because you think about that, you're in a situation where there's a good chance you are going to die and you're talking to somebody and, why wouldn't that come in your head? Like, before I, go, let me tell everybody, hey, I care about you, don't forget me. I love you, and let that be my last will and testament, and it's the thoughtfulness.
You tell that bitch Sally if she even touches my DVDs, I'm going to come back to the dead and haunt her ass.
You tell Corey, he can go fuck. but I mean the little things like that they brought to the movie, adding those little touches of character moments, especially between Halle Berry and the Little Miss Sunshine girl, Abigail Breslin. Abigail Breslin. I mean, wow, that chemistry that they had together was really good, and that was something I was waiting for them to fumble the ball on, where you thought there's a point where it was going to get to the point of just ridiculousness, like how long are they going to have this conversation going on without the guy who's kidnapping her realizing it, because it seems like territory that could have easily just really screwed up with, but just they keep you on the edge, like you said, they really do keep you on the edge of the seat with the situations going on, with the bystanders that come across the situation, it just nail biting, and it's going to be one of those experiences where you're going to be annoyed in your theater because you are going to have those people going, no, what are you doing? I don't do that. Oh, look out.
I love how everybody in the theater is a genius.
Yes.
They're like, I know what you should do in this situation. Yeah. Like, yes, while you sit here in your dark, air-conditioned room, surrounded by people in no danger.
How easy is that?
How easy is it? And the movie amazingly just stays plausible the entire time. I mean, it's frustrating that the police can't find these people, but that's the way it would be. It's a huge city where they are.
And it's their only really odd choice in here is to even include the relationship between Halle Berry and Morris Chestnut, which doesn't really add much to the film at all.
It adds one of those things where the moment I saw him, I was like, oh, brother, you a goner.
Yeah.
And maybe not.
Because there is a scene where you really think that they're gonna play up that angle at some point, because obviously he's a cop, so it'd be stupid. It'd be real stupid for him not to get involved with the case.
Yeah, they're
and
gonna fall back on that old chestnut.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly.
All right, I'll give you that one.
and thank God they don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? I can't think of anything I didn't like about this movie because it really did have me not breathing the whole time. And you know what? Something else I really liked was the kidnapper himself.
Yeah, played by Michael Eklund.
Oh, I thought he was Waldo. I thought his name was Waldo.
I've never seen him before, but it made me think back to Matthew Fox in the Alex Cross movie. And it was like this, take Matthew Fox to see this movie and go, see, this is how you do that.
See, the thing is, I don't even think Fox did a bad job in that movie. He was just really badly written as a character. They had him do just ridiculous stuff.
Well, I thought he was badly written and badly directed, honestly.
Badly directed. Yeah, he's probably told no, more.
Yeah, a director should have told him, look, calm down. This ain't, you ain't fighting Batman here.
Whereas here, this isn't one of those, who's the guy, who's the killer. It's like, okay, there he is. He's the guy. And as it goes along, we also learn a lot about him and what his motivations are and his craziness. And there's a point where, we're really seeing more than we ever want to by the end of the depths of this guy's insanity.
Yeah.
And there's even a very disturbing moment that has to deal with where the police are encountering what there is of his supposed normal life and the people in it who have no fucking idea that he's crazy, that is really effective. Everything about this does indeed feel plausible. And that's part of why it works so well, because everyone in it feels kind of like a real person, and it gets you wrapped up in what the fuck is going to happen. If I have one complaint to make, and I know that you guys don't agree with me, but I felt like there's a little codicil at the very end that I thought, with the tone of everything else that happened, seemed a little much, seemed a little silly, unnecessary even. But
I could see that.
It was a crowd pleaser moment.
I could see it.
Honestly, I would, not only did I see where you're coming from. I didn't feel that way, but I don't think the crowd was happy about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it has an abrupt ending. If there was anything I could say bad about it, it's not even bad to me, but it has an abrupt ending. But at the same time, I've watched so many foreign films that were just like this, that might do that. And we still applaud it, oh, that was great. They had the balls to do that.
Well,
this is just when it did it.
It's one of those movies where you get connected to this story. I mean, you really feel like you're along for this crazy ass ride.
Yeah.
And of course, there's going to be some people who are going to want that ultimate wrap, that ultimate bow at the end. When you're wrapping up your present, they want that sense of closure, but. This movie, it does give that to you, but I mean,
it's just not the one you're expecting.
It's not the typical one that you're expecting. And sure, of course, people aren't going to dig it, but I think there's some other people out there like us, like you and me, Leon, that will probably appreciate it. So it's a breath of fresh air for us. But I don't think in any way it really kind of betrayed what the movie was doing. I mean, 'cause this is the first movie I felt like I had that vibe like you did when you're watching Silence of the Lambs, where it's just they really do know how to work the camera. They know how to set up the tension, and the fact that these are characters that you are super worried about. You don't want any kind of craziness to happen to them, and that's the cool thing about it.
I will say, I think that the story, as it is, it's one of the miracles about it, and the thing that I credit Brad Anderson and the actors with so much is that it's not the most complicated story.
No.
It's actually really simple story. It's just fleshed out so well in a character sense, and there's so many, and the performances balance out with that it works. I mean, I was thinking Silence of the Lambs 2 at one point, and then I actually had to pull back because I went, okay, Silence of the Lambs had a really complicated story that kept you guessing. Yeah. I mean, the script was just as good as every other aspect. Here, I'd say if there's a weakness, it's probably the script is the weakest part, but that's not to say it's bad. It's just simple. It's it's not something we haven't seen before in the terms of story. It's just done so much better than we usually see.
And I think if you're familiar with Brad Anderson's previous movies, I mean, it does, even though it is kind of its own animal, I do like that his premises are simple in a way. Because he fills it up with great character moments. So.
Yeah, true.
We're like, is that it? This ends just like the movie.
Yeah, that's it. Credit. Where's my credit?
But and just in case I've been in any way not clear on how I feel about this movie, I give it a full price. And matter of fact, I gotta be honest, I'm kind of thinking about going to see it again.
Wow. Okay.
I don't blame you.
Not just because you love Halle Berry?
Well, that too.
Well, once again, I cannot argue with your logic there. This is, I mean, I don't know what else more to say because, I mean, like you said, the story is so simple. I don't know how much more do we need to, complicate the review.
Actually, there's one thing where there is that moment where Halle Berry, her character, does that thing where you might go, oh, come on. Mm-hmm. But you know what? They set it up so well.
And it makes sense.
They make sense. She has everyone. And matter of fact, had it been Denzel Washington, you wouldn't even have questioned why.
No. You honestly, I mean, if you're that plugged into it, I mean, you will be thinking about the hell that she's been through.
Yeah.
With that scene. But yeah, I mean, just saying that, I mean, this was a real pleasant surprise, especially from a director who I've always been rooting for. I'm always wondering, like, when is this guy going to make his big movie? I think this is another stepping stone for him to do something really amazing. But I just every time I'm always surprised about how he handles these movies with these kind of simple storylines. But I mean, yeah, but like I said, I was at the goddamn edge of my seat hanging off like Tom Cruise. So I'm giving this a full price.
Damn. I still can't believe this because we going into this, we're all like,
I want to see this shit.
Well, I've seen this trailer like 4 times. It looks like shit.
How long is this movie?
Yeah, getting ready to check your watch all the way through.
I got South by Southwest to do.
But it really does, even with knowing, the first 45 minutes of this movie or so, every single thing that's going to happen, really, it manages to keep you in there because it's the details. God is in the details and in the performances. It is a surprisingly thrilling, fun film. Like I said, I have problems here and there, but they're too minor to even begin to bring up. I mean, like when people say, you're just nitpicking, like even in the theater when I went, no, I'm just nitpicking. I did really, really like this overall, and I'm going to give it a full price as well. But, I will admit there was that point I was sitting there thinking, going, man, Spill doesn't work out. Maybe I could be a 911 phone operator.
Please, man.
And then I was like, no.
I feel bad for anyone trying to call you while you unload all your punnage.
I know. I'm trying to keep somebody calm while a kidnapper's in the house, and you just tell them pun after pun. And then eventually they just come out from under the bed and go like, yo, dude, I'm right here. Just take me. I can't listen to this motherfucker no more.
Enough. Kill me now.
We are going to find you.
Where's the house?